Karanos. Once she's gathered all 6 infinity scarves, no manager is safe. Hey guys, welcome to VoiceyHere. We've got a great show for you today. A very poison-filled EP episode. I don't know what it is with entitled parents and poison, but apparently that's a thing. So sit back, relax, happy birthday if today's your birthday, and enjoy the show. Don't forget, Voicey veterans, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story was called EM Tries to Steal My Sweets for Her EK, then tried to claim I wanted to poison him. So here's my story of what happened to me a few months ago. This was before everything sparked up and went into pandemonium. I love wrestling, and whenever there is a wrestling event on, I'll try to buy something for the night, like sweets, because wrestling events are only really late in the place I live, England. So I walked down to my local Wilko on a Monday, a British shop which sells all types of things, ranging from calculators to wallpapers. But most importantly, for me, sweets. My favorite type of sweets are called pick and mix. You get a cup and fill it with the different types of sweets in different pots. You can pick which sweets you want, basically. Quite cool. And I'm sure most British people on this subreddit will know what I'm talking about. So I picked up my cup and left the store and waited at the traffic lights to walk home. It's not a long distance, so walking is best for me. But as I'm at the lights, waiting for them to turn for me to walk, I see an entitled mother and her son next to me. And this is what I hear.
"Mommy, could I have some sweeties?"
He says this while looking at my cup.
"Okay, sweetie. Mommy will just talk to the boy real quick."
She then turned to me.
"Could my child have one of your sweets?"
No, your child should never take candy from a stranger, no matter what. What if he has allergies to the sweets?
"I'm sure he won't, so just hand it over."
Why should I? I spent my money on this and I don't want to be liable if your child has a reaction to it. For all you know, I could have poisoned them. By this point, the lights have already passed and gone back to red. I should have left looking back on it now, while the light was green. The entitled mum then proceeds to try and take the cup out of my hands. I prevent her and pulled back, making the EM stumble backwards and almost fall to the floor. I'm not small by any means, but not big either, so I was actually quite shocked about it. She then tried for a second time, and yet again, I prevented her. But this time, she actually fell back on the floor while her son looked on in disbelief. What happened next was kind of a blur, but I'll try to recount it in the best way possible. What I heard next was the EM scream.
"This pervert's trying to molest my child and poison him. Somebody call the police!"
I looked at her shocked, and her child started screaming alongside her. By this point, there was quite a scene being made, and people almost felt like they closed in on me. This is where it became a blur. I think it was a man who asked me, "Sir, is this true?" No, obviously not. She's just trying to steal some of my sweets for her kid.
"She's lying. He said he might have poisoned the sweets."
I then saw the man pull out his phone and call 999. But just then, everything became clear. There was a man in a bandana who I will call my guy for this story. "Ma'am, I was on the other side of the street and I saw the whole thing. The kid was just using self-defense because you tried to rob him of his sweets. He didn't want to do anything to you or your child." EM then turned to the guy on the phone.
"That's not true. Tell the police my side of the story."
Guy on the phone to the police. "I want to report an incident down in my town name." The EM gives me a crap-eating grin and I was horrified. But just then, guy still on the phone. "Yes, this mother tried to rob this child of some sweets that he bought." EM went white. She ran away with her child, who through all of this was still throwing a tantrum. The guy on the phone then turned back to me with a huge grin on his face. He then showed me his phone. It was never on, and it turns out he never actually called the police and just pretended to. This made the mother run away and leave me be. Gosh darn, that guy was a good actor. I thanked both of them, my guy especially, and then walked home with a sense of victory. And let me tell you, those pick and mixes tasted 10 times sweeter that day. Now I completely understand that you'd want to say whatever you can to make sure an entitled parent gets off your back. But if you tell an entitled parent, "Hey, these sweets you wanted, what if I poisoned them?" you're just handing them the ammunition for them to keep firing back at you. An EP is going to use whatever they can, so it's best to hold your right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used against you in a court of EP law. This story's called EM Tries to Poison My Cat Because I Wouldn't Let Her Have Him. The cast: me, myself, CB, cute boy, AB, awesome brother, EM entitled mother, insert thunder sounds, SD stepdad, and M mum. So I have a pet cat named Squish. Guys, I cannot even begin to tell you how much I adore this freaking cat. My brother and I found him abandoned in a cardboard box when he was a newborn. He hadn't even opened his little eyes yet. We took him home and quite literally begged on our knees until our mum said we could keep him. Ever since, Squish has been a part of our family. Now, something I need you guys to understand is that this cat is very attached to our family. He will run to the door to greet us if he hears our voices. He will paw at any of us to pick him up and cuddle him. He'll even pick up cat treats and take them to me or my brother and try and share them with us. Point is, my family loves Squish, and Squish loves us back. Remember this, it becomes important later. Enter our entitled mother. She and her son, CB, had come over to our house for an afternoon to visit and stay for dinner. At first, this visit was going perfect. EM wasn't being a total jerk. CB was having a great time. Seemed like a smooth evening, right? Yeah, not with EM. Me, my brother, CB, and EM were all in the living room, playing with Squish, when EM started talking.
CB loves Squish so much.
What's not to love? He's such a bean.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get CB a cat.
That's cool. I'm sure he'd love to have a little pet.
Yeah, he would. But most pet stores are so expensive.
Well, I'd go to an animal shelter if I were you. There are plenty of pets there that need some love, and I think it might be cheaper than a pet store.
OP, I don't think you get it. I don't want to pay for a cat.
Well, you know you can't have Squish, right?
And why can't I?
First, because he's not your cat. Second, because he already has a forever home. Third, he is very attached to us, and I don't think it would be right to take him from his family.
CB deserves a nice cat. He's a good boy.
Then go to a shelter, like OP said. There are tons of cats there that need a home.
Those cats are boring. I want your cat.
No.
But
I'm not having this discussion with you, EM. The answer is no. Drop it. By some miracle, that actually worked for a bit. The night continued as planned. After dinner, CB was getting a bit restless, so we decided to take him outside and play. EM claimed she had an important phone call to make, so she would stay inside. I was suspicious, but I didn't push it. Me, AB, and CB played around in the backyard for about 20 minutes, while Mum and Stepdad sat on the porch. I got pretty thirsty from chasing my energetic toddler around, so I went inside to get some water from the fridge. I went into the kitchen, and never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined what I saw. There was EM in front of the counter with a now empty bottle of my epilepsy medication. She was using a spoon to crush up my pills, and she had an unopened can of wet cat food standing by. Needless to say, it didn't take long for me to put two and two together. Something I need you guys to know about me is that I don't get angry that often. I get upset, annoyed, frustrated, etc., but it is rare for me to get truly furious at someone. Seeing her there, in my home, trying to poison my Squish, just clicked something in my brain. I felt my chest get hot and tight, and the corners of my vision were turning red as I stomped up to confront her. What the heck are you doing?
OP, it's not what it
Oh, I think it's what it looks like, so I'm gonna let you try again. What the heck are you doing?
Well, you wouldn't let me have him.
So you're going to freaking poison him?
It's not like I didn't give you an option. I asked you to give him to me, and you said no. Take this as a lesson. Never refuse a request by someone who is older than you.
She then continued to crush up the pills. Now, I am not a strong or big person by any means. I'm 4'4" and EM is 5'7". That size difference has always been a big reason as to why I try not to get physical with her. I was just so mad and worried that she was actually going to poison my cat that I just acted. I grabbed her wrist and said, very firm, "Stop." She then proceeded to stop, then turns around, grabs me by my hair, and pulls me as hard as she possibly could. I started to scream at the top of my lungs, and that was enough to get my mum and stepdad to come in and see what's going on. EM lets go of my hair and my mother proceeds to tear into EM.
How dare you grab my child like that? She grabbed my wrist.
I don't give a frick what she did. You have no right to touch my child like that.
I'll get you arrested for assault.
Sweetheart, I'm gonna be arrested for your murder if you don't get the frick out of my house. I guess that was enough to scare EM because she quickly grabbed CB and drove off our property as fast as she could. I filled my mum in on what happened after she left, and my mother got a scary look in her eyes. She grabbed my stepdad by the collar of his shirt, dragged them to their bedroom, and stayed there for about 3 hours. When they emerged, SD said that EM was no longer allowed to come to our house. Happy to say that Squish still lives with us and is happy and healthy as can be. The best part of this whole story is that ever since this happened, my mother makes a point to tag EM in random pictures of our cat from time to time. You know, it seems perfectly reasonable that if you can't really afford a cat, why not go to an animal shelter? Better yet, often on the internet, people are willing to give away pets for free. You just need to take 5 minutes of your time to just do a little bit of research to find a free cat. So something tells me it was a bit more than that. It was more like she was jealous of their happiness or something, and she just couldn't let that be. Sometimes you gotta wonder, what happened to that person to lead them to that point in life? Or are they just pure evil? This story is called Entitled Parents at My Job. First off, every single darn parent asking for toilet paper when we had none. I adore my assistant manager Tom. One EM kept clapping in his face every time he told her they had nothing back there.
Check the back again. My baby needs it.
Then Tom clapped back in her face. I checked 4 times today. They are not going to suddenly appear after the 5th time. You just gotta love people who clap with every word they say. She started screaming, but he just walked away. Second, we have shoplifters. Someone trying to shoplift food, candy, small products. But we have our people going up and down the aisles all day, so no one is getting away with it. Yes, it becomes a screaming match with these entitled people, parents mostly, who feel like they deserve to get stuff for free. One guy even threw a freaking sucker at someone because he wasn't allowed to steal. Third, we got toilet paper delivered last week, and we have a 2 per person rule. Yes, arguments abound with people wanting more than that, but we don't want them to get away with taking more. This one guy put up 3 packages onto the counter. I scanned 2, but told him I wouldn't scan the last item. So guess what he does? He looks me right in the eye, picks up the 4-pack package, and coughs all over it, getting spit and whatnot all over it. He put it back down, grinning at me.
Now what are you gonna do with it?
Thanking my manager for enforcing the use of gloves, I picked up the package without looking away from the guy, reached under the counter for the disinfectant wipes we have down there, and pulled out 2 of them. The man gave me this really angry look as I wiped down the package from top to bottom. I used a 3rd wipe as he is gearing up to yell at me, and I put the rolls behind the counter. I gave him a sweet smile. He explodes at me as I ring him up with that smile. I may be autistic and yelling does make me upset, but the sound of another coworker laughing at this guy helped me endure as I finished ringing the guy up. He called me every dirty name he can think of, which at this point in time I had heard at least 3 times daily since the pandemic started. I really wish I was exaggerating. He paid and walked out of there ranting. I wiped down the package a 4th time, and the manager took it back to the shelf. I would throw it out to be honest, but we had to make a sale. Finally, Tom got us some lockers. We used to have bins with our names on them in the back for our coats and such. However, too many customers have been caught going through our things and even flat out stealing items. Tom is the best assistant manager. He went out and bought us those lockers. We still have people trying to break into them, but up until today, no one had gotten into them. Today, however, someone was able to. When I came into work today, I saw a police car leaving the parking lot with someone in the back and someone taking a crying kid, I couldn't tell the gender, to another car. I asked someone what happened. Apparently, this parent came in and went into the back room. Somehow, he got 2 of the lockers opened and started putting things in the bag his kid was holding. Money, their own supply of disinfectants, their lunch, anything they could put in the bag. He was caught, of course, by one of the other employees, and the police were called. And I was told it was just going to get worse. Not looking forward to this. I gotta be honest, I'm not envious of anyone in a retail job position right now. I've worked retail before and it was trouble enough even without a pandemic. I don't even want to begin to imagine what it must be like for those people every single day they have to go into work. If you're currently working retail, let me know in the comments below what it's like for you, especially if you've noticed anything happy or positive that's happened. I'm sure it's rare, but it would be nice to hear that there's some positivity out there. Alright guys, that's all we got for today. Still working on our fan submitted video, so if you want to, you can submit your story to voiceyherestories@gmail.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.